Okay, so here I have a 240 GB SSD. Here I have an iFixit guide. Here I have my Mac Mini. Let's open this up and do it, right? So I just disassembled the big plate. All I needed was this tool and to pry it off of these screws. The next step is to remove all of these torque screws right here. Disassemble the Wi-Fi antenna that is connected to the motherboard, and we continue after that. So I just removed the screws, I put them over here. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this antenna plate, and as you guys see, it is stuck because right around here we need to remove this cable because it is connected straight over here. So yeah, it is connected to this antenna and we need to remove it so we can completely disconnect this thing from the Mac. So now that I have removed the plate and put it to the side, it is an antenna connector, so it is pretty easy to remove. Do watch out because the screw has a tiny washer, I think it's called, right on it, so try to not lose it. And as you can see, there is still some dust, even though I did before starting this recording, I did went over and cleaned. We can look here, we have our Wi-Fi card, our fan that blows out air out of the Mac Mini, and the heat pipe from, I think this is where the CPU is, from the CPU to the heat pipe that is connected to the fan so it can cool it. This is where the hard drive is, so this is where I'm going to get the hard drive and replace it with this SSD, and this is the power supply. So let's hope everything works fine, and I'll see you after I disassemble, I think, the fan. Yep. So as you guys can see, I have disassembled the fan right here. It was connected. This is, and again, another really simple connection. You just need to pry it out. Don't use too much force, it'll come out eventually. Try to pick it from below. And it had a total of 3 screws. One of them is still on the fan right here, and another 2 I put them to the side. Let's see what is next. Next up is pulling out the motherboard, apparently, which, as you can see, there is still a lot of dust in here. So I might try to clean it up, and I'll see you next time. I think we do need to separate the power supply first though, so let's see that. Yep. So short update, apparently there was a screw right here holding still the motherboard in place, so that's why I was not able to get it out. I pulled out this connector right here, and I'm going to pull out this connector soon. I used a tool to get to here to put pressure on the motherboard and pull it out, and I have succeeded in doing so. So nice. Well, I barely did it. I'm really hoping I didn't do anything wrong with this, but I was able to get the motherboard out. So only power supply and then hard drive left. Nice. Okay, power supply is out. That was a bit complicated. I have removed these screws. I was holding it right here. On the motherboard it was right here. On the computer it was right here. So nice. Now only the drive bay. Let's do it. Okay, so that was simple enough. One screw right here basically, and it is out. Nice. Okay, so this was a bit more complicated. What we needed to do was to disassemble all 4 screws that were holding the hard drive in place. They were in a different type of bit, so instead of the T6 that I've been using all the time, that was a T8. And I needed to completely pull off the connector because it was connected via a tape underneath. I would probably have the article of iFixit right underneath in the description, I mean. But yeah, so that's disassembled. Now we just need to install this thing and do everything backwards. Nice. Okay, so I have connected the SATA to the new SSD, and I have made sure that the cable is in the correct place for installing, and I have mounted it with the screws. So now all it's about is to make sure that it is back in place again. And do note, this SSD is not a completely new SSD. I have made sure that I use a software called Carbon Copy Cloner, something like that. And it basically allowed me to completely copy my old hard drive into this new SSD, and I made sure that it does boot from this SSD. Cool, so now that is out of the way, let's continue reassembling this thing then. So I put the screw back in place. Okay, the power supply is screwed in, and the little attachment thingy that makes sure that it is in place is also back in place. So, and the cable is in a fine place, so everything is fine. On to the next step. The motherboard is now back in place. As you can see, I already connected it to the power supply. Now all there is to do is connect it to the IR and the SATA connector right here. After that, it's the fan, and then we might try to boot it. Yep. So with the motherboard screw back in and the bracket of the SATA connected back in, we can move on to the fan. Okay, all three screws are now back in and the connector is connected. All there is left is the Wi-Fi antenna, and that's it. Wow, we're almost done. Extremely nice. So with the Wi-Fi antenna and the bracket thingy right in, this is basically it. All we have to do is to screw it and then boot it up and see if it works. Okay, so I know I wish upon myself an amazing amount of luck by completely closing off this computer, but let's press it. We see light. We hear the sound. Do we get it? We get a post. Everything's working. Oh, that is extremely nice. Well, I'll connect a mouse and a keyboard, and that was fucking fast. What the hell? That is amazing. Nice, I did it. Okay, let's go. Cool. I feel like that is it. I'll see you next episode. Next time, I guess. Bye. Okay, so I know I said the last clip was supposed to be the end and everything, but whatever. So I did some like testing, and everything works as an SSD should. Like if I click on system preference, it actually immediately launches. So that is basically what the SSD is supposed to do. So yeah, everything works fine, and I'm really happy you watched the video and maybe learned something. I don't know. Bye.